Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a Mass Make March project with y'all today. I saw where Crafty by Tony is going to be doing a video on making some tags out of clothing labels. So before I got engrossed in her video, which I know I will, I wanted to start on some of my own. So I may start this and then pause, watch her video, and then come back and do the rest of it. So here was what I've got. I've got some clothing labels here. I think these are all clothing labels, but I also have some packaging from things that I've had. So this was from a button or some kind of embellishment, some kind of brass embellishment or something. I don't know what that was. And then this is from the glue stand that I use. I saw someone on YouTube, I can't remember now who it was, use this glue stand, and I really like it. I use it to hold my art glitter glue. So if anybody is in need of a glue stand, I just stand it up like that. Now I will say they have replaceable pads, and mine needs to be replaced because it's gotten really gunky. But if you use these and it's got the pink foam there, you really need to make sure that the tip of your bottle is like stuck into the foam, like it's like put some pressure on it that way, because it will leak if you just kind of put it in there loosely and don't make sure that it's pushed down. It will leak, but if you push it down like it's supposed to be, it might leak a little bit, but not as bad as if you like pushed it down how you're supposed to. But I do like it, and it'll hold a big bottle as well as my little art glitter glue bottle. But anyway, that's what we're going to be working on. And I also have pulled out scraps that from the current project I'm working on and the past couple that I've done. So that's what we're going to work on. So let's see if we can get these covered and then figure out what we want to do with them. So this one right here, I'll save it for last because I think that one's going to be the most complicated, but I think it's interesting the way it folds out the way it does. So that's why I held on to it, just to see what maybe I could do with it. So we'll probably do these little ones first. These are just little clothing tags. I'll probably cover front and back of most of them. This one here I thought was pretty neat. It's really heavy duty. Already has a hole in it, and it has the to and from on the back like that. And it's pink, which fits in really well with the journal that I'm working on. So let's see if we can work on that one first. I will say with these being slick, like it's really slick, like heavy cardstock, I may need to sand them just to make sure everything sticks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, we got all those sanded. So we will set the ones to the side that I'm not working on right now. We're just going to work on this one right now. So I think I'm just going to try to cover this one since it's pretty heavy already. I think I'll just try to cover this one with some cardstock. Or not cardstock, some lightweight scrapbook paper that I have. Or scraps, I'm not sure which one. Get that red off the edges there, that way it's not so visible. All right, perfect. All right, so I want to ink the edges of these, and I'm going to use my ground espresso ink. All right, let's see what we've got that can work on here. I do have, this is out of a vintage clock maker's ledger. So I may just use that. I think that would work out well. Let's see. Plus it's pink on the front, and we need pink, so we can do that like that. Kind of line that up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but see if I can find my pencil. Just going to draw around that and cut that out. I think I've left my big scissors, my good scissors, in the house. to pull out the old standbys. I hadn't used these in a while. I like my Tim Holtz scissors, the spring-loaded scissors. Probably would have been easier just to glue it down and sand around it. I think this paper would have been lightweight enough to do that. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect. And I am going to use my art glitter glue for this. I don't have any good glue stick right now. All I've got is like little cheap glue stick, and it's just not going to work on this. So hopefully art glitter glue will work just fine. And we can move fast enough, it will. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera. Alright, got that on there. Alright, we'll let that one dry for a minute while we move to the next one. Alright, so let's work on this one, see what we want to cover this one with. Alright, I think that will work. So I think we'll cover this with this digital. This is from Sweet Pea Curiosities kit. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I will post it down below in the description. That way if you want to get it, you can go get it. It's almost the perfect width right there, just a little bit bigger. So I think we will, do we just want to fold it over? Let's just see if we can fold it over. Let's see if that will work. If not, we can cut it off. Yeah, there we go. We'll just fold that one over. Get it lined up straight here. Alright, so let's get this cut. Again, I'm going to ink up the edges. Hopefully it's sanded enough that it sticks, but alright, I think for this one, since we got to glue both sides, I will use my Fabri-Tac. It's a little more user-friendly when you've got to be able to move things around. Alright, let's get that in there. See if we can remember where the hole was at. It's right there. Poking a hole right where that hole was at. That way I'll know where to, once that dries, use my Crop-A-Dile to poke the hole right there. Alright, once that dries, we will trim that down. Alright, next, let's see what else we can cover. Alright, I think with this one, I want to do it this way. That way it will be a flip up, and then we'll probably put an eyelet right there, and then have something dangling off the bottom of that one. So let's do that. So I think I want to cover this one with this. This is from a vintage phone book. So I think I want to cover the front of this with this vintage phone book. That lined up. Yeah, we'll see if we can sand that off, since I know that is some flimsy paper there. Alright, got that sanded. I think I want to round the edges. Keep part of that scrap, throw the rest of it away. Alright, I think I want to round the corners on the bottom of this. I think that matches the bottom better. Alright, let's cover the back. What do we want to cover the back with? Alright, we got some encyclopedia here, so let's use that. Oh yeah, let's use this. It has this picture on it, so let's use that. I'm trying to get better about using my vintage book pages and all of that. It's not that I want to hoard all of it, because I have plenty of books. I don't want to. I get so caught up in using digitals and scrapbook paper and all that I kind of forget about the book page until I go to work on something vintage and start pulling it out. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. So hopefully I can get better about that. The good thing about using book page, it is so easy to sand through. Alright, got that sanded. That looks really good. Now let's go ahead and poke through this hole though. Don't want to miss our... There we go. Alright, now we need to glue that down a little better. All right, now what do we want to do on the inside? Needs to be something fairly thin. All right, let's use some more of this because I know this is wide enough to fit on there. Do we want to use the names? Sure we do. All right, I think we can go ahead and put an eyelet. Hopefully my eyelet is not too big. Or too small, I'd rather say. Alright, it's a little small, but it'll work. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Alright, got another one covered. Alright, let's do these little ones. Yep, let's do these. Alright, we can use this for one of them. This is somebody's vintage paycheck that I used in a different project. So I think we'll use this. Alright, yep. I didn't have to sand these because the finish on it is matte. So let's see, are we going to be able to fold it over? No. Alright, so let's choose which piece of this that we want to have. Hey y'all, I'm sorry I didn't realize my camera cut off. I had to go in and delete some things. I was running out of some memory, and then I had a visitor. My husband got home from work, so I talked to him for a few minutes, and now I'm back. So when I didn't realize the camera was off, I was in the middle of covering these two little tags. So I got them covered, got a little eyelet put in them. Went ahead and put an eyelet in this one and this one. I've still got to finish inking this one up, and then I need to put an eyelet in this one. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I saved this big one here for last because I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with it. So I think I've got it. I think I've got a plan. We'll see how well it works out. But if you'll remember, I did cover it partially, but I didn't cover the whole thing. But if you remember, this was the package that my little ink stand, or not ink, glue stand came in. So I covered the big back part of it, and I realized that I put my papers on upside down. Didn't really intend to do that, but they're on upside down. I guess you would say they're right side up on that side. But I got to playing around with it and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I think what I want to do is I want to turn it into a hidden paper clip. And this may or may not work, but I think that's what we're going to try to do. So instead of it being this way like it was originally, I want to turn it this way, up and down like this, and then put a paper clip here. And the other idea is to have this as a flip down. So I think I'm going to put a magnet right here and then cover it with some paper. I think I'm just going to use this scrap that I have. I think I'm going to cover it with this paper. And this would be like a hidden journaling spot behind that when it flips down. And then there will be some again on the back of it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to continue on and get this covered. I think we can go ahead and put some glue on here. And this is a total experiment, y'all, so hopefully it works. Glue this side and then we'll glue the other side. Kind of manipulate that paper a little bit where it'll fit around that magnet and the paper clip. All right, now we can glue this side. All right, so we got our magnet right there. So I want to use this little metal, I think it's a picture frame hanger, I guess is what you call it. I want to put that there. I wish I'd have thought ahead and put it in between this paper here, but too late for that now. I can, let's see. Is it going to hold like that? I can try to put an eyelet in there. Or not an eyelet, a brad. All right, I'm going to let that dry for just a second before I keep fiddling with it. And I'm going to pause, grab some ephemera where we can start decorating some of this stuff, and I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, y'all. It took me a minute to get back. My phone was about to die on me again, and just one thing after another before I could get the camera back on. So I've grabbed some ephemera and kind of laid it out a little bit, just to kind of wrap my mind around what I was going to do. So I've got this one. I went ahead and I put the eyelet on it. I'm going to turn it this way. I didn't get to round this corner here because I didn't do it before I put the eyelet in, but anyway. And on this little ticket that come out of one of Sweet Pea Curiosity's, her vintage tag, or vintage labels, tags, kit, something like that. I'll tag it below in the description, but I put a little eyelet through there because it had a little place there for it to be a tag. So I did that. And this is some Tim Holtz ephemera that I have. I believe this is Tim Holtz, or it might be something from Recollections. I don't know. So I'm just going to simply do that and put a butterfly on there. We're going to keep this one nice and simple. Add a little number. Because there's that one. That just nice and simple and cute. Alright, and then for these tall skinny ones, I grabbed out some of my PET stickers. I have a lot of these stickers from when I was doing art journaling. So I've made a deal with myself this year that I need to use these things up. So I have these, and I'm just going to put these on there, and I have some little bitty things over here that are like little Tim Holtz curator snippets that I'll probably add on there to that. but we're just going to put these PET stickers on there. Hopefully I can get the backs off of them. That was a little easier than I thought it was going to be. So I'm just going to put that on there, and then we will trim the excess off the sides if we need to. And I'm just going to look through these little Tim Holtz things I have over here to the side to see if there's any that I want to use. Alright, I think I'll use this one, just one of the little curator snippets, and I'm just going to put that down here on the bottom. Yeah, we're just going to put that on the bottom. You can always come back later and decorate these more if we need to. Alright, there's that one. This one, I'm just going to put this mushroom on this one. Alright, so that's got those. Let me trim off the sticker. And if the glossiness on the stickers bothered you, I have went back over the stickers before and put matte medium on them, and it does kind of tone it down a little bit, but it doesn't bother me. These are not as shiny as some of the ones that I have, so they're not too bad. Well, we got that done. And then we're going to move on to this one. This is the big one that's going to be the flip down. So let's see what we want to do here. It was the perfect size to go right there. So we'll just leave that as a pocket, and we'll put something in there later. So this will flip down, and we got our hidden journaling spot. And on here, I wanted to put another pocket. I want to cover up the little metal piece here. I put some washi tape over the top of it. And I have another piece of ephemera from one of Sweet Pea's kits. This is from the When Time Was Gentle kit. And I did test it to make sure the magnet was still going to work, and it would, so that was luck. Alright, we got that fixed. Probably need to move that over a little. There we go. And we'll put this little label on there. There. So that's made that cute. And on the flip down here, I don't really think I'm going to do anything on that. I think I'm just going to leave it blank and stick something in the pocket. I may come back and do some stamping on this part later on and on the back. Because on the back we have a place that we can decorate too. So you'll be able to see this from the other side of the paper. And then this will be the flip down. So I'm happy with how that turned out. Alright, and lastly, I have this one. And I've pulled a few little things, but I don't really have a concrete plan just yet. I did leave this one as a just a little flip up. Trying to decide if I wanted to make a little notepad out of it. I could put some coffee dyed paper in there. That way it could be used as a journaling spot. Alright, they got some of my coffee dyed paper here. And we can just get my ruler. I can get to it without causing too much chaos on my desk. Alright, so you can just tear that. Tear a little off the bottom. Perfect. Same for this. And let's see, find my stapler. Need to tear the bottom off that a little bit more. There we go. And we'll just put a little paper clip on that, and that'll hold that closed. So let's find... There. So I got a couple of labels here. A label from Sweet Peas Kit. That there. Actually, I think both of these come from her kit. There. Alright, let's look at what we've done. What we've gotten finished. I finished this one with just putting a little dangle on the bottom. And remember, it's a little notepad in there that we've held closed here with this little paper clip. And that's covered with the book page. And we have this one. This was a hidden paper clip pocket. And it's got the little pocket there with some ephemera in it. It folds down and has another little pocket there on the inside. We have some hidden journaling space there on the front of that, and then also on the back. But it is like a hidden paper clip, so that will slide down over the top of your page. And then this one, I added the little ribbon at the top. I think I had all the rest of this done. I just added this little shimmery ribbon at the top. I added a little dangle with some beads to this one, and some twine, just some beige and white twine that I had to these, just keeping them really simple. But that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this. I enjoyed making these things. I think I'm going to go back and, if this works out well, I think I'm going to go back and try to recreate this with... without the packaging part of it. I don't have, my journal's not right here beside me to test it out, but if it works out well and it goes on the book well and all that, I may try to recreate this with some scrapbook paper. But y'all let me know if you would like to see that, and I'll work on that. But I hope you enjoyed watching. Go watch Toni's video of her mask make today. She is mask making the tags, like I said earlier, out of clothing tags. So I know you'll enjoy watching her. If y'all have any questions, comments, leave them down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you wouldn't mind, like, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Thanks, y'all.